Next project we got on a bench today, or in the rack, is this Juniper SA2500. Now this was decommed from work. This was a cold spare, so it sat new in box in case we ever needed it. Well, the one that was in production got decommed, and so this one was no longer needed. This is a VPN appliance, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to flash it, put pfSense on it, and use it as a firewall. We'll go into it, we'll crack the case. I'm going to do some upgrades. I'm going to put a solid state in it, juice up the RAM, and flash it with pfSense. And yeah, so that's what we're going to do to this. Let's get it open. So the way this is going to work, this is the box that came with it. I've put a few other things in here. Got some more RAM sticks. These should fit. We got a 3.5-inch solid state drive. That's going to go in and upgrade the spinning discs we got in here. And then we got some mounting here, mounting hardware, some console and power cable, and then the license stuff. Now, the reason I'm not going to run this with the VPN, just the way it is because, well, it doesn't do what I want it to do. I want it to be a firewall. I don't want it to be a VPN appliance. And the other thing is, to get it running, you need to have the Juniper license or something, and I don't have a legit license for it. So that's why we're flashing it with pfSense. So let's rip it apart and get into the guts of her. My favorite part of anything is scraping off the warranty void if broken stickers. I like it. Gives me some personal satisfaction. Now, I'm told that these things are not legally binding or something. I don't know. Who gives a shit? Makes me happy to scrape that shit off. I don't care about your warranty. I'm gonna do what I want. I just got 3 more to go. Alright, we're in like sin. Let's see. Maybe we're not. Oh, I think I got 1 more screw back there. Alright, now we're in. Yeah. There we go. What we got? Super micro board. I think those are 512 meg sticks. 3.5-inch 160 gig drive. Got a VGA header? Yep, we got a VGA port. So instead of consoling into this thing, what I plan on doing is putting this into hooking it up to a monitor and flashing it with pfSense that way. But this is pretty special. So the hard drive is mounted with 4 bolts, or there's 4 standoffs, 2 on this side, 2 on the other side, that bolt directly through the bottom of the chassis. So now this should, yep, just lift up like that. Put that right there. And then this is underneath. I guess that's a CF card port right there. Yep. Alright. I'll put the new one. This got real shady real quick. So I put the brackets off the old hard drive onto the new one. This is an OCZ solid state drive. It's 120 gig, I think. Yeah, 120 gig. That should do nicely. Put in 4 2 gig sticks of RAM. I think this thing's not going to recognize all that, but either way. The problem I ran into, and why this is sitting on another machine, is I only have one USB port on the front. Now I'm configuring this with a VGA monitor, so I had to find somewhere to put the USB stick and somewhere to put a keyboard. So what I did, because I don't have a USB hub, is I had another Supermicro laying around somewhere, and I took the USB connector off of that. I didn't extract it out of the front bezel. I just disconnected it from the motherboard, slapped the Juniper on top, and plugged it into the motherboard on the Juniper. So, is this gonna work? I have no idea, but we're gonna see. So let's go ahead and plug the Juniper in. It's gonna get a little loud for a bit. Maybe. There we go. Got video. Sweet. So it's only recognizing some of the RAM. Alright, I'm gonna pause it. Figure out what's going on. Alright, well, that was a pain. So I originally had the Supermicro USB hooked up there, just as an unused header on the motherboard. But what I wound up having to do was hook it to the one that went to the front panel, because that one was already in use. I guess it doesn't want to use anything else. So now it's trying to enter the setup now. So we'll give it a minute and see what it. All right, we've dialed back the sketchiness just a bit. Still got this thing flapping out in the breeze. This is our target drive that we're trying to install pfSense on. In no configuration I could come up with would this SA2500 recognize both a keyboard and a USB key, a USB drive. I couldn't do it. So the problem I was having was it wouldn't go through all the way through post, so I couldn't even enter setup. I couldn't do anything. So what I decided is I had a spare solid state drive laying around somewhere, and I copied the ISO for pfSense onto that, and I have it running with an external ATX power supply hooked up to SATA port 3, or yeah, 3, and that, it seems to mostly like that. So we got here, we can see that it recognizes the drive. So we'll go in here and I'll have to hit X, so these are excluded from boot order. Standby. Alright, so all I had to do was exclude one of these guys. It only leaves you 8 options, so I had to exclude one, and then I added my Samsung SSD as into the boot priority. The other thing that I changed was in somewhere in here. Let me find it. So under PCI configuration, I changed this. It was DOS. I changed it to other, because that says if you're installing new software and the drive fails, try something else. So we got all that saved. That's our boot order. We're gonna exit saving changes and see what she does. Well, the saga continues. Trying to get this thing to work. It's gone through a few iterations of figuring this out. But a guy at work scored one of these as well, and we were both troubleshooting, trouble guessing, trying to figure out what's the most correct way to do this, or what's gonna actually work for us. And he seems to have found the answer in installing pfSense using another computer and then installing that hard drive in here. So that's what we're gonna do now. So this is the drive. This is the target drive that I want pfSense installed on. This is the memory stick that I have pfSense running on. Let's boot this bad boy and install it and see what it does. So it does seem to be booting to pfSense, which is expected. This is just an Optiplex. There's nothing fancy about it. I'll turn that message off. Alright, so we're at the install. I'm going to run through this and we'll see what it do. Alright, so the install literally took no time. I mean, I think 5 minutes and it was done. So, kind of letting it finish booting up here. Should we set up VLANs now? No. Okay, so we're going to stop this here. We're going to throw it in the Juniper, see what it do. Alright, so just plugged it in. Oh boy. I don't believe it. You gotta be kidding me. Ay, ay, ay. Alright. Wow. Alright, well. Yeah, it looks like it detected the interfaces. It's bringing up all the services. I'll be damned.